Hey there, folks. Rick Steves here, your guide to smart and savvy travel. Today, we're diving deep into the heart of New York City, but not for the reasons you might think. We're talking about the underbelly, the side of the Big Apple that can leave a sour taste in your mouth if you're not careful. Tourist scams. Yeah, you heard that right. Even in the city that never sleeps, there are folks looking to make a quick buck off unsuspecting visitors. Now, don't get me wrong. New York City is an incredible place, a melting pot of culture, history, and excitement. But like any major tourist destination, it attracts its fair share of shady characters looking to take advantage. We're here to make sure you're not one of them. Whether you're a seasoned traveler or a first-timer in the city that never sleeps, knowing the tricks of the trade can save you time, money, and a whole lot of frustration. So, buckle up, because we're about to expose the most common tourist traps, the telltale signs of a scam, and most importantly, how to avoid becoming a victim. Remember, knowledge is power, and in this concrete jungle, a little street smarts can go a long way. Let's get started, shall we? Now, you might be wondering, why tourists? Well, think about it. Tourists are often unfamiliar with their surroundings. They're carrying cash and credit cards, and let's face it, they're usually focused on having a good time, not on every little detail. This makes them prime targets for scammers who are experts at spotting vulnerability. These scams can range from petty theft to elaborate schemes involving fake tickets, overpriced souvenirs, and even rigged games. And the worst part? These scammers often prey on people's good nature, their desire to experience the city like a local, or their simple lack of awareness. They might be dressed to blend in, they might use charm and charisma to disarm you, or they might rely on intimidation tactics to get what they want. But here's the good news. With a little bit of knowledge and a healthy dose of skepticism, you can easily avoid falling victim to these scams. The key is to be prepared, to be aware of your surroundings, and to trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. So, how do you protect yourself? That's what we're here to discuss. Over the next few minutes, we'll break down the most common scams you might encounter on the streets of New York City. We'll give you the insider tips on how to spot them, how to avoid them, and what to do if you find yourself in a sticky situation. Remember, knowledge is your best defense. By being informed and aware, you can outsmart the scammers and ensure that your trip to New York City is everything you've dreamed of and more. So stay tuned, folks, and get ready to become a savvy traveler. We're about to arm you with the knowledge you need to conquer the Big Apple, scams and all. All right, folks, let's start with one of the most common scams you'll encounter in Times Square. But it can happen anywhere tourists gather, street performers. Now, don't get me wrong, New York City is known for its vibrant street art scene, and many performers are genuinely talented and entertaining. But some see tourists as easy marks. A classic example is the shell game. You know, the one where they hide a ball under a cup, move them around, and you gotta guess where the ball is. Seems easy, right? Wrong. These guys are masters of sleight of hand, and they often have accomplices in the crowd who pretend to win, enticing you to join in. Before you know it, your money's gone. Another common trick is the magic trick gone wrong. The performer might accidentally spill something on you or involve you in a stunt that ends up costing you money. Remember, these are professionals at distraction. While you're focused on the accident, their partners in crime might be picking your pockets. So, what's the best way to avoid these street performer scams? Simple. Be wary of any performance that involves audience participation, especially if it seems too good to be true. And never let anyone pressure you into handing over your hard-earned cash. Enjoy the show from a safe distance and keep your wallet secure. Tickets to nowhere. Beware of fake ticket sellers. Next up, we're talking about fake tickets. New York City is a hub for Broadway shows, concerts, and sporting events, and scammers know that tourists are eager to snag tickets to these popular events. That's where they come in, hawking what appear to be legitimate tickets at discounted prices. These tickets might look real, with official-looking logos and holograms, but they're often nothing more than sophisticated counterfeits. You hand over your money, excited for the show, only to be turned away at the gate, left holding a worthless piece of paper. Here's the deal. The only way to guarantee authentic tickets is to purchase them from authorized vendors. That means reputable ticket agencies, the venue box office, or official websites. Yeah, it might cost you a bit more, but trust me, it's better than being out hundreds of bucks and missing out on the experience altogether. And here's a pro tip. Be especially wary of anyone approaching you on the street offering tickets. Remember, if a deal seems too good to be true, it probably is. Don't let the excitement of the moment cloud your judgment. The Shell Game Shuffle, a classic con. Now let's circle back to the shell game because it's such a classic scam, and it's important to understand the mechanics of how these things work. The setup is simple enough: a street hustler with 3 cups and a small ball. They move the cups around, seemingly at random, and your job is to follow the ball and pick the right cup at the end. But here's the catch. The game is rigged. The operator uses sleight of hand and misdirection to ensure that you never pick the right cup. They might even let you win a small amount at first, just to build your confidence and convince you it's a game of skill, not chance. Often, these shell game hustlers have accomplices in the crowd. These shills pretend to be regular players, winning big and cheering enthusiastically. This creates a false sense of excitement and legitimacy, encouraging you to try your luck. The bottom line is this: the shell game is a scam. You will not win. These operators are masters of deception, and they rely on your greed and naivete to make a profit. Walk away, folks. There are better ways to spend your money in New York City. The helpful stranger, navigating assistance with caution. Next up, let's talk about those helpful strangers. You know the type. They might approach you, map in hand, asking for directions. Or maybe they'll overhear you talking about needing a taxi and offer to hail one for you. While many New Yorkers are genuinely kind and willing to help, scammers often use this guise of helpfulness to gain your trust, only to exploit it for their own gain. They might lead you to an overpriced souvenir shop where they get a commission, or they might distract you while an accomplice pickpockets you. Here's a golden rule. Be cautious when accepting unsolicited help, especially if it involves going somewhere with a stranger. If you need directions, ask an employee at a store or restaurant. If you need a taxi, use a ride-hailing app or find an official taxi stand. Remember, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Trust your gut instincts. If someone or something feels off, it probably is. The price of a photo, costly characters, and creative cons. Finally, let's address those colorful characters you'll encounter throughout the city, especially in tourist hotspots like Times Square. We're talking about folks dressed up as superheroes, movie characters, or even the Statue of Liberty, eager to pose for photos with you. Now, a photo with Spider-Man or Elmo might seem like harmless fun, but be warned, these characters often demand exorbitant fees for their services. They might pressure you into paying a hefty tip, or even worse, become aggressive if you refuse. Here's the thing. You are under no obligation to pay for a photo, even if you've already taken it. If you do decide to engage with these characters, be upfront about your budget and don't be afraid to walk away if their demands are unreasonable. And here's a little secret. You can often find these characters taking breaks in nearby cafes or stores. If you're lucky, you might be able to snag a free photo then, without the pressure of a crowd and the expectation of a big payout. All right, folks, we've covered some of the most common scams you might encounter in New York City. All right, folks, let's talk about how to avoid becoming another statistic in the Tourist Trap Hall of Fame. First things first, knowledge is power. Before you even set foot in the Big Apple, do your homework. Think of it like prepping for a big game. You gotta know the plays, right? Jump online, check out travel forums, read reviews, and get the lowdown on common scams in areas you'll be visiting. Forewarned is forearmed, as they say. Knowing what to watch out for is half the battle. Plus, it'll give you peace of mind so you can actually enjoy your trip. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Reach out to friends or family who've been to New York City and pick their brains about their experiences. Did they encounter any scams? What advice would they give to a first-timer? Local knowledge can be invaluable. Plus, it's always fun to swap travel stories, right? Remember, a little preparation goes a long way. By taking the time to research and educate yourself, you'll be much better equipped to navigate the city like a pro and avoid those pesky tourist traps. So, do your homework, folks, and get ready to experience the real New York City, scams and all. Next up, let's talk about where you're getting your information and, more importantly, your tickets. Just like you wouldn't buy a Rolex from a guy in an alley, you shouldn't buy Broadway tickets from a random dude on the street corner. Stick to reputable sources, folks. When it comes to booking tours, accommodations, or buying tickets for attractions, always go through official channels. Use established travel agencies, hotel websites, or authorized ticket vendors. Yeah, it might cost a few extra bucks, but it's worth it for the peace of mind knowing you're not getting ripped off. Be wary of deals that seem too good to be true, especially online. Scammers love to create fake websites that look official but are actually designed to steal your money and personal information. Always double-check the URL, look for secure payment options, and read reviews from other travelers before handing over your credit card info. Remember, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Stick to the straight and narrow, folks, and you'll avoid a whole lot of hassle. Now let's talk about money, honey. New York City is a bustling metropolis where cash is still king. But that doesn't mean you should be walking around flashing wads of bills like you're trying to hail a cab in a hurricane. Discretion is key, my friends. Instead of carrying large amounts of cash, opt for a prepaid travel card or use your credit card whenever possible. It's safer, more convenient, and many credit cards offer fraud protection, so you're covered if anything fishy happens. If you do need to carry cash, divide it up and keep it in different places. A little bit in your wallet, some in your pocket, maybe even a secret stash in your shoe. Hey, I'm not judging. The point is to minimize the damage if you do get pickpocketed. Remember, the less you flash your cash around, the less likely you are to become a target. Be smart, be discreet, and keep your money close. Listen up, folks, especially you solo travelers out there. While New York City is generally a safe place, there's strength in numbers. The buddy system ain't just for grade school field trips, it's a solid strategy for avoiding scams and staying safe, especially at night. If you're traveling with friends or family, stick together. It's much harder for scammers to target a group than it is to single out someone who looks lost or vulnerable. Plus, it's more fun to explore the city with your crew, right? Even if you're traveling solo, try to connect with other travelers at your hotel, hostel, or on group tours. Having a travel buddy, even for a day, can make all the difference. Remember, there's safety in numbers. Don't be afraid to strike up conversations, make new friends, and explore the city together. It's all part of the adventure. Now, for the most important piece of advice I can give you, trust your gut. You know that little voice inside your head that tells you when something's not right? Yeah, that one. Listen to it. If a deal seems too good to be true, it probably is. If someone's being overly pushy or aggressive, walk away. If a situation just feels off, remove yourself from it. It's better to be safe than sorry. Remember, you're in control. Don't let anyone pressure you into doing something that makes you feel uncomfortable. Your instincts are there to protect you, so trust them. And here's the thing. Even if you're wrong, even if it turns out to be nothing, it's better to err on the side of caution. Don't let anyone make you feel silly for being aware of your surroundings and trusting your gut. Safety first, folks. Section 6. Report it. Don't suffer in silence. Finally, if you do happen to encounter a scam or fall victim to one, don't suffer in silence. Report it. It might feel awkward or embarrassing, but reporting these incidents helps protect other travelers and hold scammers accountable. Contact the local police, file a report with the Better Business Bureau, or leave a review on travel websites warning others. Your experience, even if it's negative, can be valuable information for others. And remember, you're not alone. Tourist scams are, unfortunately, a common occurrence in many parts of the world. By speaking up and sharing your experience, you can help prevent others from becoming victims. So there you have it, folks. Some practical tips to help you avoid tourist scams and stay safe on your New York City adventure. Remember, knowledge is power, preparation is key, and a healthy dose of skepticism never hurt anyone. Now go out there, explore the Big Apple, and have an amazing scam-free trip. Stay tuned for more travel tips and tricks. Section 1. The Case of the Vanishing Statue, a souvenir scam story. All right, folks, gather round because it's story time. And trust me, these ain't your grandma's bedtime stories. These are real-life tales of tourist traps in the Big Apple. This one's called The Case of the Vanishing Statue. Picture this: a bright-eyed tourist, fresh off the plane, strolling through Central Park. They spot a street vendor selling those iconic miniature Statue of Liberties. "How much?" asks the tourist. $10, the vendor replies. "A steal." They hand over the cash, get their statue, and head off, feeling like they've snagged a piece of the city. But later, back at the hotel, the tourist unwraps their prize. The once gleaming statue is now a dull, tarnished mess. Turns out our unsuspecting tourist got played. The vendor had swapped out the real deal for a cheap knockoff while they were distracted. The vendor is long gone, ready to prey on another unsuspecting tourist. Section 2. The Broadway Blues, a tale of fake tickets and shattered dreams. Now let's talk about those coveted Broadway tickets, the golden ticket to the glitz and glamour of New York's theater scene. But beware, folks, because there are counterfeiters out there who can spot a theater enthusiast from a mile away. This next story, The Broadway Blues, illustrates that perfectly. Imagine a couple celebrating their anniversary, all dressed up, ready for a night on Broadway. They managed to snag what they thought were last-minute tickets to a sold-out show, a real steal from a guy standing outside the theater. They're buzzing with anticipation, ready to be dazzled by the bright lights and big talent. They hand over their tickets, feeling like VIPs, only to be met with a frown from the usher. "These are fake," the usher says, pointing to a discrepancy in the printing. The couple's hearts drop faster than a curtain on closing night. Their dreams of a magical evening are crushed, replaced by the bitter sting of disappointment and the sinking feeling of being scammed. The couple is out hundreds of dollars, their anniversary celebration ruined. They're left standing on the sidewalk, watching other theatergoers enter, their laughter and chatter a painful reminder of what they've missed. It's a harsh lesson learned. The allure of a bargain can be blinding, and when it comes to Broadway tickets, always go through authorized vendors. Now for a story a little closer to home. Yeah, folks, even seasoned travelers like yours truly ain't immune to the allure of a street hustle. This one's called the Shell Game Showdown, and it's a first-hand account of how easily we can all be fooled. I was in Times Square a few years back, soaking up the energy, when I stumbled upon a shell game in full swing. Now I knew it was a scam. I'd seen it a million times before, but there was something about the energy of the crowd, the quick movements of the operator that drew me in. I stood there for a while observing, telling myself I was just there for the entertainment. But then, the operator, a slick-talking character with a twinkle in his eye, caught my gaze. "You think you can beat me, Pops?" he challenged, a mischievous grin spreading across his face. Now, I'm a sucker for a challenge, and something in his tone, maybe a hint of disrespect, sparked my competitive spirit. Against my better judgment, I reached for my wallet. "All right," I said, "let's see what you got." Big mistake, folks, big mistake. Now let's talk about those costumed characters, the unofficial mascots of Times Square. They might look friendly enough, eager to pose for photos and bring a smile to your face, but some of them have a knack for turning a photo op into a financial fiasco. Take it from the folks in this next story, the friendly photographer. A family visiting from out of town is excited to capture their Times Square experience with a photo alongside their favorite superhero. The character, all smiles and enthusiasm, obliges, striking a pose with the kids, even letting them try on his mask. The photo session wraps up, everyone's happy, memories made. But as the family turns to leave, the character's demeanor changes. He blocks their path, hand outstretched, demanding payment for the photos. The family is taken aback. They didn't realize there was a fee, let alone such a hefty one. The character becomes increasingly insistent, even threatening to delete the photos if they don't cough up the cash. The family, caught off guard and unwilling to cause a scene, reluctantly hands over their hard-earned cash. They leave feeling cheated, their initial joy replaced by a sour taste of exploitation. It's a reminder that not everything in Times Square is as magical as it seems, and even seemingly innocent photo ops can come with hidden costs. This next story highlights a scam that preys on our basic human decency, our willingness to help others in need. It's called Lost and Found, and Lost Again, and it's a prime example of how scammers use distraction to their advantage. Imagine a tourist walking down Fifth Avenue, window shopping, taking in the sights. Suddenly, someone bumps into them, dropping a wallet or a wad of cash. The tourist, being a good Samaritan, picks it up and calls out to the person, who seems flustered and grateful. But wait, there's more. Another person approaches, claiming to have also seen the dropped item. A discussion ensues, maybe even a bit of an argument about who should keep the money. The tourist, caught in the middle of this staged drama, is completely distracted. And that's when it happens. While the tourist is preoccupied with the lost item and the ensuing commotion, an accomplice of the scammers lurking nearby swoops in and makes off with the tourist's belongings. By the time the tourist realizes what's happened, their wallet, phone, or even their entire bag is gone. It's a classic case of misdirection, a carefully orchestrated performance designed to exploit our good nature and leave us vulnerable to theft. Remember, folks, not everyone who seems to need help actually does. Trust your instincts, be aware of your surroundings, and don't let distractions cloud your judgment. Section 6. Don't be a statistic. Learn from others' mistakes. So there you have it, folks. Real-life stories of tourist traps in the Big Apple, cautionary tales to remind us that even in the city that never sleeps, we gotta keep our wits about us. These stories might sound disheartening, but don't let them scare you off. Consider them valuable lessons learned the hard way by others, so you don't have to. Remember, knowledge is your best defense. By being aware of common scams, using your common sense, and trusting your gut, you can avoid these pitfalls and enjoy everything this incredible city has to offer. So go forth, explore, and embrace the energy of New York City. Just remember to keep your guard up, your skepticism sharp, and your sense of adventure even sharper. Up next, we'll wrap things up with some final thoughts and tips to ensure your Big Apple experience is memorable for all the right reasons. Section 1. New York state of mind, staying safe, staying savvy. Well, folks, we've journeyed through the heart of New York City, explored its dazzling heights, and navigated its shadowy underbelly. We've uncovered the tricks of the trade, the scams that target unsuspecting tourists, and most importantly, the strategies to outsmart them. Remember, knowledge is power, and in the concrete jungle, a little street smarts can go a long way. Don't let the fear of scams overshadow the magic of New York City. Remember, millions of people visit this incredible city every year and have amazing, scam-free experiences. By being informed, prepared, and aware of your surroundings, you can too. Keep those common scams in mind, the shell games, the fake tickets, the overly helpful strangers. Trust your gut. Be wary of deals that seem too good to be true. And remember, if a situation feels off, it probably is. Don't let anyone pressure you into doing something that makes you uncomfortable. Now go forth. Embrace the energy of the city that never sleeps, and make memories that'll last a lifetime. Section 2. The city that never scams. Enjoying the real New York. Now don't let all this talk about scams deter you from experiencing the real New York City, the city that pulsates with energy, bursts with culture, and welcomes you with open arms. Well, maybe not literally, this is New York after all. Get lost in the vibrant streets, explore diverse neighborhoods, indulge in culinary delights from around the world. Catch a Broadway show, wander through world-class museums, or simply soak in the electric atmosphere that's uniquely New York. Talk to locals, ask for recommendations, discover hidden gems off the beaten path. New Yorkers might have a reputation for being gruff, but beneath that tough exterior lies a heart of gold. They're passionate about their city and eager to share its secrets with those who are genuinely interested. Remember, the real New York City is about connecting with its soul, embracing its diversity, and creating your own unique story amidst its towering skyscrapers and bustling avenues. See you real soon, New York. Final tips and farewell. Plan ahead. Research your itinerary. Book accommodations in advance, and purchase tickets for attractions and shows from reputable sources. Make sure your phone is charged and consider getting a local SIM card or an international roaming plan. Comfortable shoes are a must, as you'll be doing a lot of walking. Dress in layers, as the weather can be unpredictable. And don't forget a reusable water bottle to stay hydrated. Embrace public transportation. New York City's subway system is extensive and efficient. Most importantly, have fun. New York City is a place of endless possibilities. So there you have it, folks. Until next time, happy travels.